Continuing the series of ramblings and memories from the 491 Gallery and the Vertigo Film Club, two long-term squats in Leytonstone, London, from 2002 to 2004. So what happened was there was these Erotic Awards, I think in about 2002 or 2003, I don't know. Founded in 1994 by campaigner Tappy Owens, the awards were first called the Erotic Oscars, until the name had to be changed for legal reasons. They were called the Erotic Awards from 2002 until 2013, when they became what is now known as the Sexual Freedom Awards. These events raised funds for the Outsiders Club, a charity that supports disabled people to find partners. The Erotic Awards had 21 award categories, including campaigner, sex worker, strip-tease artist, fashion, academic, writer and film. Nominations came from the public, and 3 finalists in each category are then selected by the grand jury of conspicuous sensuality. The winners are announced during the ceremony, where the finalists' work is also exhibited and performed. All award winners receive the Erotic Awards, signature trophy, the flying penis. And for whatever reason, the organisers they like to put on a good, a round of entertainment all night, and one of the things that they do is to have a strip-tease competition. So but they were running short of a few people. So Eddie, I don't know, Mary's mate, I think Eddie sort of suggested to them that he knew these cats that were living in a squat in Leytonstone, and they would definitely be up for like taking their kit off in public. So why don't you go along and ask around? You might be able to get some volunteers. What do you do when you volunteer to become a strip artist? A bit like the full Monty, doing a full Monty in 1 week. What do you do? I mean, what music do you do? What movements do you do? How do you practice? Where do you practice? You know what I mean? Who do you practice? Because you seriously got to practice in front of people. You can't just do it in your room and then just turn up. Although I think Tony's one, he probably did do it in his room and just turned up, because it was so mad. But I'll get to that one in a bit. Just the first stage of what do you do? How do you do it? One of the ideas I had was to do the whole thing listening to George Formby's Leaning on a Lamppost. So I'd do it all like leaning against a post or one-handed. I tried that out a few times. I think I remember in the kitchen, and so if you'd have walked in on me, I'd have been listening to George Formby with my trolleys round my ankles. Well, I'd come up with a song and come up with a bit of a routine. I did a little bit in the kitchen. It was time to just do performance in front of Dale, who was living in the house, musician guy, and my girlfriend at the time, Jacqueline, and they're sitting there in the kitchen, in the boys' house, and I'm like, okay, well, I better put the music on then. So I put the music on, and it was, I think at that stage, it was, you know what I mean? That's not Massive Attack, is it? No. Left Field. One of those anyway. Put the music on, and Jacqueline and Dale are watching, right? And it was a bit weird trying to be sexy in the kitchen in front of your flatmate. Like Jacqueline's looking at me as if I'm like some exotic weird beetle or that's just walking across the table or something. Whereas Dale, while I was doing my routine, he's like kind of his mouth, his jaw is open, and then all you can see is this glisten of like saliva on his bottom lip, and it's just like, and his eyes are like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? They're both looking at me, and I'm trying to do some moves, yeah. So ended it right. She commented, and she used the word sexy, but not in a very positive way. But I can't remember exactly what she said. So yeah, that was my practice. And then the main night went along to this place. I don't know where it was, but they had this boxing ring in the middle, and we were supposed to like perform in that, you know, to the round, and the crowd was all around, you know, and I don't know, 250, 150, 250, no, definitely more like 250. It was just packed, totally packed. They needed a bigger venue, that's for sure. And it was kind of snug in a way. I just felt a sea of faces or something. I don't know, maybe, you know. Anyway, so we went out and did our performances. Let me see who was first. I think I was first, yeah. I was really inappropriately dressed, right? I had jeans on, jumper, shoes with laces, uh, no, no Velcro or anything like that, just like, you know, and a jumper. I was wearing a jumper. So I went out and did my performance, and I'm like, you know, I've got all the moves, and then you have to kind of sway around a little bit and do some weird things with your arms, and then there's a bit in the song and it's just and you just pull over the jumper over your face, and you just got this. That was one of my things. That was how innovative I was. So I'd have the jumper over my face, like a mask, a woolen mask, you know. Yeah. Anyway, that kind of went on for a bit. Trying to get the shoes off, that was impossible. They just didn't want to go, you know. And I'm kicking because I couldn't get the jeans off. Jeans, what the fuck, man? Jeans. But anyway, so I couldn't get the shoes off, and I'm like kicking my foot, kicking the foot, trying to get the shoe off, kicking it, you know. Like, And then I suddenly looked, and there was I think it was one of the rock bitches. She was sitting there in the front row, and pretty much in the trajectory of this shoe, should it decide to leave my foot and go whizzing across, you know, the boxing ring and smack her in the face, you know. Sorry, I wasn't, but I suddenly thought, fuck, no, this is not a good idea. So then it even got even more like unsexy, me trying to pull it off in the end, which I did. And then there's me trying to pull down my trousers. I think they were jeans, and that was an issue. And you know, I kind of like ran out of music. Basically, it's a long track. You kind of time it that you know, you're gonna peak when the track peaks, you know. But I just ran out of music, yeah. And the sound guys, he's looping it, you know. Do 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 do. That's going on for hours, and it's like he's just looping it kindly, I'd say. Otherwise, it would be just quiet and me just trying to pull down my trousers, you know. Yeah, and the other thing was I just performed to the one side. Not there was a crowd all the way around. So most of the crowd, and I think that's where the camera was. There's video of this somewhere, maybe somewhere out there. Which would be very funny from my perspective to see that recorded, and so most of the audience and the camera just got my back, you know. I didn't play to them at all. They didn't get a view at all. I mean, they saw my bum eventually, which I don't know if that was probably worth it. Anyway, they ran out of music, and I'm trying to, and I had this kind of like right at the end of what I was going to do is, I don't know how I was going to do it. Did I have boxers on? And underneath the boxers there were a pair of Jacqueline's knickers, which I borrowed, definitely borrowed, not nicked, borrowed, and boom, do, and for God's sake, just pull the pants down, show your todger, let's get on with the fucking show. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. So I did that, and I got a bit of a cheer from the audience. I think they just should have given me a medal for just dexterity, perseverance. There's a lot of things that I had to do to do that. One thing you could never say was it in any way sexy. Then there was Tony rolling around on the boxing ring, tumbling over and over, backwards and forwards. Each time he'd stop, he'd sort of pull off some item of clothing, then he'd roll back again, just rolling backwards and forwards. Quite, I mean, I have to hand it to him. A very, did well with the laced up boots. Because he was kind of dressed. I mean, you look at him, you think he was a skinhead, like a proper bonehead. But yeah, so he just looked the part. I think he had a Harrington on and jeans, boots, laced up boots, and corduroys. Yeah, Hersham Boys. He was Hersham Boys doing a strip for the Erotic Awards. So yeah, he was very kind of well received. It was also filmed. God knows where that is. And then lastly, from our lot was Sedek, and yeah, Sedek is kind of into stilt walking. He's a stilt walker, and he's very you can imagine a peacock on stilts. That's Sedek. He likes his feathers and his ruffles, and actually, and yeah, he was just Sedek basically. Yeah, very erotic looking, exotic looking, kind of. You put in the effort. Yeah, you got the feeling maybe that he'd done it before. Maybe I know he was in a porn film once because he showed us it. He played some sort of Freudian professor, and then there was this orgy. He didn't really get involved. He just sat there and took notes, but like he was a prop or something. But yeah, he did show us his one and only porn film. So that was the Erotic Awards, and then they went on and performances all evening. Crazy stuff. I mean, just you couldn't believe that a person could do that with their body. Just pole dancing to people squirting stuff to people going down on themselves. If you want an idea of what these events look like, go to sexualfreedomawards.co.uk.